And before I just start, I want to ask in this room, how many of you have actually participated in these cultural transformation in a company? How many have been involved? Yeah, so quite a few of you. Well, that's good to know. And so I'm sure that you think that this topic is also relevant. Let me just start out with just a little bit about myself and my background for being here today. So my name is Merete, and I'm from Denmark, and I'm 46 years old, and I'm working in a company called Terma. And Terma is a smaller company than some of the company represented here today, but we still have a really complex organization, and this is what I want to talk to you about. I have a history in English and history, or a master in history and English, and I also have a master in psychology of organizations. And I have been spending the last 20 years working in HR, and 10 of these years with leadership. I have, for the last 18 years, worked in 2 companies, Vestas and Terma. And I'm sure you also tried many different roles in your career, but some of the roles that I've had is that I've been a senior HR business partner, I've been heading up a learning and development department, and currently I'm head of HR development and transformation. And I just listed some of the activities that I have been involved in during my career, just to give you some of the insight of who I am. And I've been participating in many transformations and also a lot of general change and driving out HR activities. Let me also just introduce Terma. I'm sure that many of you is not familiar with Terma. It's a Danish company, and we are working within the aerospace and defense and security sector. And we support customers and partners all over the world. We are a high-tech organization, and we actually develop and manufacture many of our mission-critical products and solutions. And we have products that goes on the ground, at sea, in the air, and in space. Some of the products that we have is actually to be a subcontractor to Lockheed Martin, and we're participating in the world's largest industrial projects. We have some manufacturing sites in Denmark where we produce parts for the joint F-35 Joint Strike Fighter. We also have participated in many European missions to space, where we are proud to support with critical hardware and also software. Then we have some advanced technology that goes to different ships, surveillance and mission systems. And then finally, we produce radars, which today is around the world, and it's looking after the safety in airports and in harbors, coastlines, and wind farms and at sea. So this is the world that I'm operating in, and then I'll just go back to the culture part, because we have in Terma, as many of you have, a global company where we have locations around the world. And what does that mean when we talk about culture? And why is it important? We all know that corporate culture is important because it is what keeps the organizations together. And when people feel that they have something in common, they develop a shared responsibility for succeeding, which is of course essential for any organization or any group. So why is changing a company culture so complex? And we've heard a lot of details about this, but it is of course about feelings and emotions and fears and aspirations, traditions and norms and so on. But then you can add to a complex challenge contrasting employee groups. And even though we are a small organization, we still have a lot of contracting employee groups. We have manufacturing, blue collars and white collars. We have people in our sales department. We have highly specialized people in an R&D function. We have people being in field service that needs to go to these radars. we have people in finance, and then of course we have the classical diversity with age, seniority, and nationality. But then we also add, as a complex thing in this, we also add subcultures. And I don't know, can you say that in some of your companies you also have subcultures within the company? Yeah, a lot of you are nodding. So we for sure have that in Terma as well. We have a factory that used to be its own factory. It's like the environment there is one big family. It's a small community. It's in a local region, and it's very informal there. Then we have our space department, which is a very, very special sector where European Space Agency plays a big role. There are many nationalities, and the people working within the space industry have so many specific and very special knowledge, and everybody know each other there. And then we also have this area of the defense industry, which is very formal and very slow and very focused on security. So all in all, these are just some of the examples of the subcultures that we have in a small company like Terma. And then I want to ask also if you had tried this as well, because I have tried this not a million times, but many times, that we have to roll out a new strategy, the company of tomorrow. It's going to be a great transformation. It's going to be a new culture that we want, or we want to push some of the culture. We talk about new ways of working. And what we do when we roll out these new strategies is that we have plenty of corporate communication with the what, the how, and the why. There's so much professional layout. We have a strategy deployment tool. We put the best leaders in a task force, top-down communication plan, town hall meetings, and so on. And everything goes according to plan. And yet, the employees should be excited, but many are not. Many employees do still not understand the why. And you have tried to explain it so many times. And you have even trained all the people managers to explain it. And you've had training sessions and so on. And you can feel that this new strategy does not really live. And after 6 months, this strategy only lives in the strategy office or the people who report on it each quarter. And to do it even more general, not only with these strategy, but in general when you have these cultural changes and transformation. You use the change management model, and we all have seen the theory behind it, how to make it stick, and so on. And you prioritize the actions, and you have a lot of clear, transparent corporate communication with the what, the how, and the why. I think we all trained in this, right? We have a professional layout, and we put all the time the best and the brightest in these task force. We do it top down. It's very concrete, how to, with plans and timelines and so on for people managers. And then again, everything goes according to this plan, but still the employees do not really appreciate the difference, or they don't understand it. And you can feel that it's not really living this program. And sometimes, after a period of time, it's only HR and maybe a few managers who remember these initiatives, and everyone else seems to have forgotten about it. I know this is maybe overcompensation or over-characterizing this a little bit, but still, I think there's a point to it. So what is it that I'm saying, and why is it not going as well as planned? I think, from my experience during the last year, that sometimes employees are too different and have two different drivers. Despite that we all have to talk about diversity and getting people on board and everything, then I think because we are so different and we have so different drivers, I think that this one-size-fits-all solution is not meeting people eye to eye in a corporate culture. So, should we just give up on a corporate culture? Of course not. But I think that the trend for several years have been that more and more companies want to make corporate solutions, standards and alignments. And I believe we need to rethink this and work differently and less corporate. And what have to be a corporate culture needs new approaches. So, my first advice, or at least my suggestion on how to work with this in a different way, is first of all really to embrace that one size does not fit all. I think we have to be a little more realistic with our corporate ambitions in these transformations. So really acknowledge one size does not fit all. Second of all, when we look at these normal change management projects and plans, I think we all know about stakeholder mapping and how we should involve people at the right time. But I think what is equally important is that we try to map out these employee groups and the specific environments that we have in the companies, and also what local conditions do we have. So what must be shared corporate culture changes, and where and when can we choose differently and look for local needs and the different drivers. I think also some of my experience is that it's a really, really great idea to look into the influences of the organizations, but also to try to remember them, to bring them from all the layers of the organization. So when we set up these work groups and war rooms and so on, let's try to invite influencers from the shop floor, from the tech department, and from all over the organization. Not that we should invite everyone into this work group, but I think we really need to spread it out to have these influencers to be part of working with these changes. I think also we should try to map the organization. Or did I just do this one? Sorry. This one. Sorry. So I think also we should do a more bottom-up than top-down, and I think we just heard that also. But I think we need to find clever solutions on how to collect this feedback. And I'm not talking about surveys here. I'm talking about dialogues and getting closer to the people. And we need to listen and then listen some more, and try to consolidate what we hear and use this informal forum meetings to receive knowledge. And last but not least, and this is one of my key bullets here, and that is that I think we need, as we do differentiated leadership, I think we must do much more differentiated communication. So if we want to have a more innovative mindset, how does that look and feel and smell like in the factories? How does it look and feel like among the engineers? So any behavior change we want to have, or any change at all, I think we really must try to listen to ourselves and say, how does that look, feel and smell like in these areas, and then try to communicate it to the people that we want to involve with these changes. So, just to sum up, if we want to do a successful corporate culture change or transformation, I think that we need to lower the corporate ambitions a little bit. I think we need to map the organization in new ways and not the classical ways. I think we do need to do much more bottom-up solutions. I think we need differentiated communication. And last, I think we need to use all influences from all areas of the company. Yeah, short and sweet, but that was just something about driving corporate cultural transformations. Yeah.